Hey everybody, Livingston here. Today we're jumping into another fun-filled episode of the Twilight Zone. This time it's episode 10 out of season 2, A Most Unusual Camera. It came out December 15th, 1960, and it's actually an episode I've sat down and seen before. Maybe about 25 years or so since I've actually seen this episode, but it's been so long, I'm looking forward to jumping back into it. I do remember how it ended. I do know how the story and the gist of it goes, but I don't really know the particulars when it comes to the actual story. Looking forward to seeing what your comments are going to be. Enjoying the comments, and I'm going to go over to last week's episode, The Trouble with Templeton, which was episode 9 of season 2, and go through the comments section. So don't forget to comment, because next week I'll be going through those comments section again and reading about this week's episode. So let's jump into the comments. P Sparks 3419 says, Livingston, the Wilford Brimley age-related comment really made me laugh. Well, I mean, it's true. I mean, the guy was, in his early 40s back when Cocoon came out. I'm not too far from that age, and I don't feel like I look anything like Wilford Brimley, because it took place in an old folks' home. I mean, it was a retirement home. What guy in their early 40s are retiring? I mean, that's just me. I think I'm still fairly young, even though I'm considered, close to middle-aged now. But anyways, P Sparks 3419 also says Twilight Zone does an excellent job with the time travel episodes. Good one, Livingston. I enjoyed this episode. I thought it was very intriguing. I'm kind of curious, though. Was it time travel or was it something else? I mean, because it seemed like everybody who he met in the past seemed like they were in on the joke, on what was going on, as if it was a play for his benefit to kind of learn from that experience. I don't know. I mean, it's definitely one that's left up to interpretation, and I like those episodes. It makes you want to kind of dive into each one and kind of figure out what the whole gist of it is. But Tiny Barrio says, gotta love the slap. Damn heartless. Yep, this is true. And I like the name. It's really cool. Akira Kurosawa says, he snap out of it, he almost end up in his own Willoughby. Yeah, true. I mean, what would have happened if he stuck around and he didn't go back through those doors at the theater? Would he have stayed there and still been kind of banished and want to be pushed back out into his own present day? Or would have people just kind of go about their business and suddenly he had to find another way or experience a new thing, or still be with the girl he was with? I don't know. Again, another episode very much left up to interpretation. Booth definitely got his confidence back at the end. It still seems a little sad to me. Heart from Canada. That was from Joan Mayer 304. Yeah, it's kind of crazy how he was aging. He was an older actor. And I think he just didn't really want to settle in as being like the mentor to others, like the director in that episode, where he can teach the younger generation what it's like to be in the process of going through the plays and kind of being a teacher more so than the one that's learning. And I don't think he was accepting that at the beginning of it, but then to learn how he should really feel and how he should look at life from a different perspective, I would say. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's just a very interesting episode when it makes you kind of look at certain things in a different perspective. Rick Kennett 143 says, a sentimental favorite of mine never fails to hit me right in the feels. Very true. It definitely made me feel, and it's what really makes these Twilight Zone episodes so great. They go through a beginning to end story in a matter of 22 minutes or so. And they do such a good job kind of going through and making every character someone to remember. I mean, I don't know. Maybe today we don't get as much of that as we used to. I feel like characters today are sort of forgettable, unless they're from an IP that everybody kind of knows. But to have something that's interesting and kind of fleshed out and new. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. There's a lot of new characters out there, but I just seem to remember a lot of the old, the characters from my youth and whatnot. And today, not a lot of new characters kind of stick in my mind. Maybe I've just getting to the point where I don't want to take that in. I don't know. But Jenny Everett 7855 says, unfortunately, Bewitching Pool isn't one to look forward to, but many others are. Bewitching Pool. I guess that's something I have to look out for. Thanks for the heads up. I guess when I come across that title, I'll be like, darn, this isn't going to be so great. James Dryden says, I thoroughly enjoyed this episode, enjoyed seeing a young Sidney Pollack. Another example of time travel that many stories in the series explored. Very sweet that they acted indifferent to Booth in order to send him back to his own time. The fade out is quite poignant, expressing that fact, directed by the esteemed TV director Buzz Kulik. Yeah, it was very interesting how they kind of did that. And again, that's another scene that is up to interpretation. I mean, how did they know that it wasn't him, that he was from a different time? I mean, the whole bar just stopped and looked in his direction, and it just makes you wonder, was it all just a put on for his benefit? It's again, I enjoyed the episode just in the matter of fact that you had to think about it. It was something that you have to really ponder on, and made you wonder what's really going on here. But let's jump into the actual next episode, episode 10, Most Unusual Camera, and see what it's all about.
The Twilight Zone.
The police surmised that the thief, obviously working with an accomplice, entered and began to remove items from the shelves. 2 vases of the Ming Dynasty.
Yeah. I don't know what dynasty they're from, but they ain't Mings.
Ooh, not good people.
Oil paintings by Picasso.
3 posters in frames. Guy that painted these thinks that Picasso was a foreign sports car.
They forgot this, an antique camera, no less.
Hey, that might be worth something.
A hotel suite that in this instance serves as a den of crime. A camera. Hardly worth mentioning, really, because cameras are cameras. Some expensive, some purchasable at 5 and dime stores. This one's unusual. It happens to be a fact that the pictures that it takes can only be developed in the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, usually when the people are not great, they turn out to have a very dim fate at the end of it.
Not a crummy thing. No place to put the film in. Some crazy foreign writing. Uh-huh. Say cheese.
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 Crackers.
Baby, the next time you get a hot idea on a heist.
Oop. It's ready. It's like an easy bake oven.
Well, isn't that nice and so clear, Chet? Can you imagine that? No flashbulb.
Yeah, but you weren't wearing a coat.
Go on, go look at yourself in the mirror.
Are you missing a couple of buttons?
You go ahead and look.
Man, just point out what the issue is.
Now look at the picture.
What am I doing wearing a fur coat? I wasn't wearing a fur coat when you took that picture. I don't even own a fur coat.
Yeah, but will you be wearing one?
Camera's strictly for laughs. Strictly for laughs. It's a gag camera.
It's AI.
Well, we might as well clear up the rest of this junk. Let's get at that chest.
No, you'll have to open it in your own inimitable style.
That's a word you don't hear often. Inimitable is to describe someone, especially a performer, when you like or admire them because of their special qualities. New word to use, I guess.
How do you like this? And don't try to argue with me either. Well, how do I look?
The picture, she is not too bright.
All right, cue me. What's the matter? What are you doing? Come on back to bed. Deal with that.
Shut up.
Shut up.
It's a crazy camera, so it takes dopey pictures that really aren't there. So it's a camera, that's all. Here, I'll show you.
That predicted the future.
Stop it, why don't you? Let it go, forget it.
How can I forget it? It could be loaded with black magic.
What are you loaded with?
Liquor.
Where's the man with the horns who comes in with a bargain for the soul?
No one hit the button.
Well,
Who's that? Oh.
it's my brother Woodward. He's in jail 7 years for breaking and entering, and that was only a year ago. Maybe it's somebody who just looks like Woodward.
Nobody looks like Woodward. Look.
Everyone always looks like somebody.
I'm scared. I'm palpitating.
Palpitating.
A little palpitating never hurt anybody. Whoever is in this picture, it is not Woodward.
You sure? It's Woodward.
Hi, Paula. Hi, Chet. I broke out. Me and another guy in a laundry truck. I was thinking if I was around, you two wouldn't fight so much. You're still all-time fighting? What's this, Chet? You like that? There I am, standing by this very door, wearing the clothes I got on. To be able to take a picture of it. Wait a minute.
Just dawned on you, huh?
I still don't know how he can use it.
Imagine trying to sell an item like that. They'd throw you out. They'd say you're off your rocker. They'd burn you at the stake. One thing or the other.
Witches, I tell you. Witches.
Take pictures like at a carny and then, well, maybe we could, like that.
Yeah, sure.
We're people.
Yeah, but what kind of people? We're three small-time heisters. Science could use something like this. That's the way we are. Everything for us, nothing for anybody else. Well, I've risen above all that now. I say let's give this to the world. A gift for humanity. A gesture.
So how are you going to do it? How are you going to make the world a better place?
How can you know it?
Hey, here's an idea. The horse track. You'll win the money. Then you'll do good by giving to charity. Yes.
We're going to take a picture of the winning board at the racetrack before the race. The winning board before the race. Get it?
No. These people aren't swift. The bald guy's got something. Got some smarts. The brains of the operation. The other two,
We got a little camera here that takes pictures 5 minutes before they happen. We know what horse won. We know how much he paid. Now do you get it?
Shouldn't have brought this guy in. Too many people. You too many people, too many things happen. Greed's not good. No matter what Michael Douglas said in Wall Street.
Hey, wait a minute, Chet! Wait a minute. What about humanity?
What did humanity ever do for us?
Yeah. Now we can make some money. I think most people would want to profit off of it. I mean, it's all about yourself typically for the most part, but what's a little harm in taking care of yourself as well as taking care of others? Work, 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 work. I'll put it all on.
Put his numbers on it now.
6, 3, 11.
The money goes on Tidy 2 if you take care of baby.
Come on, Tidy 2.
And Tidy 2 moves into the hole in the rail and moves fast.
Tidy 2.
Tidy 2,
Come on, Tidy 2.
Come on, Tidy 2.
Tidy 2.
Hooray, we are winners, finally. And all our wildest dreams will come true.
Here we go.
Chet, go get the money.
Yeah.
Come on, Chet.
Thank you.
That's a lot.
Open the bag, honey. I've run out of pockets. 95 times to win, number 4.
You sure, sir? It's a lot of dough.
92, 93, 94.
Going right through it.
No, not black. It's got to be yellow with black upholstery.
Better make sure you pay your taxes, or the government will come after that dough.
And how much was it? 11,000.
We learned that in an earlier episode, didn't we?
Okay, you bring the papers around in the morning. We'll settle the whole deal. Right.
Knock, knock.
Must be the waiter.
Yes, ma'am, I can.
Hey, put that down.
Oh, let him look at it. Bet you never saw anything like that before, huh, Pierre?
Unusual, sir.
But what do you do after your 10 pictures? Is there any other way to get more film?
Well, we've only had it for a little while.
Uh-oh.
10 à la propriétaire. That means 10.
Oh.
That means you may only take 10. You see, the lettering is definitely French.
Yeah,
but
okay,
I've never
Pierre.
seen
Now, look,
French.
don't...
How many did you take? Let's count them.
Hey, bring that thing over here. Now, how many pictures did we take? Six races.
8. We've taken 8 pictures. Chet, there's only 2 left.
Some smart aleck French waiter tells us it means 10, so we figure we've only got 2 pictures left. I bet we can take as many pictures as we want.
But we don't know. We can't take any chances.
Uh-oh. No, take the 2 pictures, put it all on one horse, and win as much money as you can.
We're going out to the track tomorrow and bet 2 more races. We're not selling anything.
You wasted one.
You and your palpitations, phony palpitations, and a stupid brother. Take a drink.
That's better.
What's the picture look like? Uh-oh. Something bad happens.
She's screaming because somebody's trying to do something to her husband. Some stupid, no-good ex-con who wants to get that camera and doesn't care how he gets it.
Don't do it,
You
Chester.
put that knife away, Chester.
Chester!
Scream because somebody's trying to hurt a loving brother.
Boys.
Put the knife away.
No, please.
Whoa, oh, no, no.
Don't.
Man, people just fall right out the windows in these shows.
Die. There's nothing left.
There's money. Lots of it. That's greed there.
However, we must muddle through these
You
things.
move right on after they fall out a window. Both your brother and your husband.
Poor Chester. 1 more picture left. For posterity, boys. Simply for posterity.
Very dark.
May you both rest in peace. What do you want?
Pardonnez-moi.
You got the wrong room. There's no laundry here, Jack. Hey, what are you doing?
I'm, how do you say, cleaning you out.
Why?
Well, I'll cue you. I'm going to be calling the cops.
But if you call the police, Madame will get herself in one fantastic bind.
Yeah, but she didn't do anything wrong.
I would advise you to get out while you can.
Boy, this guy is just a complete dick.
Now, as to the laundry, this may be back by Thursday.
Probably stick with never.
There is a picture of the courtyard down below, but there are more than 2 bodies.
More than 2 bodies?
Yeah, I would get away from window. You're an idiot.
Oh!
I guess it's your camera now.
Yes, there are more than 2 bodies down there. Just like the picture shows. 1, 2, 3.
4.
4!
Object known as a camera. Vintage uncertain, origin unknown. It's a beckoning come-on for a quick walk around the block in the Twilight Zone.
That's a shame. Well, that was a most unusual camera. Really enjoyed this episode. I mean, it's kind of straightforward. You knew what was going to happen. At least I knew what was going to happen right at the very beginning of the episode because I've seen this episode before. But right at the beginning, you get that these people are not good people. And typically during a Twilight Zone episode, when someone's not good and they show you their hand really quick at how bad they are as a person, they don't usually come out of it alive. And it happened for everybody who was bad in this episode. I mean, you had the man and woman at the very beginning of it, the husband and wife, and then the wife's brother shows up. All of them not good people. Couple of them not too swift. And, of course, you had the bellhop guy that was popping in and out just kind of randomly. But when he popped in the beginning, he didn't think much of it. But at the very end, he also got his comeuppance because he was also not a good person. And, I mean, usually when they're a good person at the very beginning of the show, you get that they're not going to have... They might have a happy ending, or they might have an ending that kind of shows them a different perspective on life, but it's never a bad one typically. And maybe there's 1 or 2 that were, almost like the Burgess Meredith one, that was kind of a sad ending for the guy. He was all about reading and staying into fantasy world, so I guess he was all about himself. So I guess he wasn't all great, but he wasn't a bad person like these people were. At least he didn't die. So I guess the meaner the person, the harsher the sentence it is in the Twilight Zone. You can look at it in that perspective, but I really enjoyed the way they just show that greed is just not good to be. It's not good to be a greedy person. You should always, give to others like they said they were going to do, and they might have gotten something out of it in return if you paid it forward, but they didn't do that. And it's sad to see that all 4 characters are dead at the end of this, but let me know comment below what you thought of this episode, and I will talk about your comments in next week's episode. And so it should be very interesting to see what kind of topics we're going to come up, just like we did for last week's episode as well. But let's dive into some trivia and see what it took to get this episode off the ground. Adam Williams began and ended 1960 with Twilight Zone appearances. This episode, in which Williams plays the dumb brother Woodward, first aired in December 1960, while in January 1960, The Hitchhiker aired. In that episode, Williams plays a sailor. Oh, yeah, I do remember the sailor. He was the guy that didn't really want to be in the car with the girl who was driving, and he just wanted out because she was just a little off her rocker. Along with Eulogy, an unusual episode where we see all characters, save for extras, die. That's true. Everyone does die in this episode. A glimpse of the future is used here to become rich by sports wagering. 30 years later, the same premise is used in Back to the Future Part 2, but with greater riches, both on the screen and at the box office. Well, I mean, Twilight Zone really wasn't a movie that came in theaters, so didn't really have much of a box office, but I'm sure the ratings were pretty good back then. Back to the Future Part 2, one of my favorite trilogies out there. I mean, it's hard to go wrong with Back to the Future in general. The first one's always the best one, but I enjoy the entire trilogy as a whole. But if you watch them back to back to back, they become very repetitive in nature. I mean, Marty waking up, "Mom, is that you?" Or Biff coming in through the doors and like, "McFly!" And it's like, oh, somebody else. But there's just so many callbacks to the other movies. But awesome trilogy. Very fun to revisit. And yes, again, something else that was based on this actual television series that seems to kickstart a lot of people's imaginations and making a lot of my favorite films from the 80s and 90s and probably today as well. But maybe it's the newer Twilight Zone episodes that people are checking out. I like to think that people are still going back like I am and revisiting the classics, because that's where it all came from. It's where a lot of these ideas have come from in all modern storytelling. But let me know, comment below. I'd like to hear your thoughts, and while you're at it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, see you later.